Hello, welcome to the second video, which is males part 2. Good. So when we look at the, we're on page 469, there is talk about the hormones. Now, as the male fetus develops, it is a secretion, the testes secrete testosterone. And it's the testosterone levels that rise that will, they'll rise and then they'll decrease. And then testosterone is barely available or barely noticed until puberty hits. And then when puberty hits, this is where the secretion of gonadotropin releasing hormone from the hypothalamus will trigger two different things. And then they also will trigger two different things. But mainly what we look at is the triggering of the testes to produce follicle stimulating hormone results in the spermatic cells to produce testosterone, and then sperm production begins. So you have the two different things are interstitial stimulating hormone produces the interstitial cells to secrete testosterone. Then follicle stimulating hormone acts on the spermatogenic cells to produce testosterone and sperm. And it's this production of testosterone that results in what's called the secondary male characteristics. So think of the big manly man. You've got dark pubic hair, facial hair, axillary is armpit, remember? Dark hairy guy, dark and thicker skin, increased oil and sweat and body odor, and this is why until boys undergoing puberty figure it out, usually have difficulty why they smell bad and have sweaty skin. Also increase in muscle mass and the expanding of the larynx. It grows larger, and because of that the voice deepens. So that is a result of, at puberty, testosterone kicks in, which well, basically puberty starts gonadotropin releasing hormone, which then goes through the steps to produce testosterone. Now, just to summarize the male hormones, we'll come at this come at it in different layers. But if you remember, the gland is the hypothalamus, and the hypothalamus is the one that releases gonadotropin releasing hormone, or GnRH, gonadotropin releasing hormone. Gonadotropin releasing hormone will then act on the anterior pituitary to produce two hormones. Interstitial we're not going to worry about because that's only in puberty. We're going to look at follicle stimulating and luteinizing hormone, and I'm going to so follicle stimulating hormone stimulates the follicles, which are in the Satori cells. But I want to look at luteinizing hormone right now. Will stimulate the testes, and it's the testes, the interstitial cells of the testes that produce testosterone. And it's testosterone that will produce the secondary growth hormones. The production of sperm is a different one, and we'll look at that path later. And I don't know if I linked this, so let me just link this for you. And this is, yes, I linked it right there, so we're good. Okay, so let's go back to the formation of sperm. Now, there's a lot of detail here, but I want you to realize the spermatogenesis is the name of forming sperm, or sperm formation, spermatogenesis. And it will start when the male reaches puberty and then continue throughout life. The quality of sperm may decrease, but the amount of sperm never really increase or decrease. So there's a lot of different names for each steps, but I want you to be aware of the process. You start with 46 chromosomes, which is what all human cells have, and this is the germ layer we talk about. So this then undergoes mitosis to produce normal cell division, and then this layer will stay around, so to continue in production of sperm cells, where this one goes through another pathway where it'll undergo meiosis. And in the process of meiosis, it divides and divides again. And then you get sperm on the end. You get flagella on the end, and that's when you create a full sperm. And then these spermatozoa, so I want you to know, it starts as spermatogonia, then it ends as spermatozoa, and the process is called spermatogenesis. Okay? So again, looks tricky, but if you pay attention, you know that Genesis is creation, and zoa is a little tricky, but spermatozoa is the end. Now, I want you to realize here, we've created 4 sperm that are all, they all contain 23 chromosomes, and they're very paired down. When you look at the sperm, you have thousands of them produced each second, and then they take a couple months to mature. But you have very streamlined. Here is the nucleus with the genetic material in it. There's a little enzyme cap called the acrosome on the top. So that's the head. Basically, it's just genetic delivery. Then you've got this middle part chock full of mitochondria. If you remember, mitochondria make energy, but there's no energy source with it. The mitochondria will use the energy in the spermata, in the semen, in the fluid, to create, they use the fructose in the fluid to create the energy to whip the tail or the flagellum, which will then cause the sperm to move. Okay? Good. We talked about semen already, but here's a nice summary of it. Spermin is basically to be sticky and alkaline. You want it sticky so that it will allow the semen to stick to the walls of the vagina, and alkaline to counteract the acidity of the vagina. Good. So let's just summarize. Here are our hormones. And the main hormones, gonadotrophin releasing. If we go back to the Jamboard, gonadotrophin releasing are, here we go, the hypothalamus, anterior pituitary releases 2, and then the follicle stimulating will act on the Sertoli cells to produce sperm. Luteinizing hormone comes from the anterior pituitary. It acts on different cells, the interstitial cells, to produce testosterone. So that's a bit of a summary there. Good. The last topic here is the male sexual response, and there are 4 phases: excitation, plateau, orgasm, and then resolution. So excitation can occur mentally, physically, or visually, and that will cause the parasympathetic nerve. Remember how we talked about parasympathetic is rest and digest? Well, this is one of the penis is the sort of organ that's a little different. It will cause in terms of resting, it doesn't really cause the penis to rest. It causes the penis to get hard, and that's because of blood flow. So what happens here is the parasympathetic nervous system will cause the blood vessels to relax and dilate. And when they dilate, you get blood going into the arteries. And this blood will then go into the penis and cause the penis to fill with blood and engorge or get hard. And then it is ready to enter the female reproductive tract. After excitement, there's a small plateau where the urethrosphincter contracts, so you don't have urine mixing with the semen, and you have heart rate, blood pressure, and respiratory to remain elevated. And this will occur until orgasm. Now, orgasm is a brief release, and this is stimulated by the sympathetic reflexes. So there will be ejaculation in 2 stages. Emission, which is stimulating the muscle contractions of the vas deferens to propel the sperm into the urethra, and then expulsion is the expulsion of semen. So Emission is getting the muscles to contract and move it to the end. And expulsion, can't even pronounce that one, is the release of the semen into the vagina. Then after orgasm, there is the sympathetic signals will tell the arteries to contract, and that will restrict blood going into the testes. Sorry, into the penis. Then you also have the muscles of the erectile tissue squeeze out the blood, and the penis becomes flaccid. So if we go back to the picture of the penis, here you have your muscle layers around, which will, and you've got your engorging cylinders. So blood vessels will come in, relax, as they relax, it will put more blood into the area, and then the muscles at the end in resolution contract, moving the blood out. Okay, so we are now done this, we're done the male part. Let's just skip to the end and look at a couple of questions to review before we go on. So number 3, until ejaculation, sperm are stored in, and they're stored in the, take a second and answer that. Where is testosterone produced? Testosterone is produced in the interstitial cells, okay, epididymis. Which organ supplies the most fluid? And that is the seminal vesicles do 60%, bulbourethral 5%, and that would leave 35% in the prostate. Good. So that is the end of the male reproductive system. So I will end this video.